Okay, guys, this is Rob. Someone said that it might be easier if I showed them how I walk through the entry of a trade. So just wanted to show you how I actually walk into a trade and what I'm looking at. Today we had a alarm go off on the New Zealand, and if you looked on the heat map when this alarm went off. I took this heat map picture around 5 a.m. I wake up around 5 a.m. That's the first capture that I would take of the heat map. This is the forexearlywarning.com heat map. I like this. This is a really good tool. You can see that New Zealand was weak across the board, which is great. So what I did is I looked on my console. I just used MetaTrader, and I looked across the whole thing. You'll notice on this side over here, New Zealand is all on the left. Now over here, it's on the right. So realistically, what I want to visually see if I want to take the New Zealand short is I want to see all the ones that are on the left. I want to see all these going down. So I first looked at it against the Swiss. This is on an H4, and it was going down, which was good. Against the CAD, it was going down, breaking. This was coming close to crossing. The averages were coming to cross over. Also, New Zealand USD was going. The New Zealand yen was going down. So this was a good confirmation. Also, when you look at the inverse, you had the Euro New Zealand. Remember, the New Zealand's on the opposite side, so the Euro's going up. This is New Zealand going down. This is confirming. This is New Zealand going down against the Aussie, confirming. This is pound going down, confirming. Now, I liked what the pound New Zealand looked like also. So I got into an entry around a little after 6 o'clock. My trading day, I like to be around 6:30 to about 10:30 to 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. So you really want to stick between the times of just, 3 or 4 hours before our stock market in the United States open up, and maybe an hour after or so. That's usually pretty good after they've gone to lunch and whatever. But you'll notice that on the, let me see if I can get there, on the 5 a.m. you could see on this heat map it was green. So we had a lot of strength coming in. So this would be good to play against this New Zealand weakness. So I did play that against the New Zealand weakness. You'll notice as we go through, the pound started getting weak across there, but I was able to watch this and my New Zealand side of the trade, because remember, on the pound New Zealand, it is going to go up as long as I have pound strength, which I did when I originally got in around 6 o'clock. I had the pound strength, and if you have New Zealand weakness. So as that trade got in, it went up just fine. This started rolling over a little bit during the day. I would probably say like maybe around 8 o'clock or so, but the heat map, I didn't put it in this thing, but the heat map started showing the pound starting to go red, and then it went against the Swiss, and of course the yen, because the yen got really strong today. So my original entries were the pound New Zealand long and the New Zealand yen long, and I'll show you why I actually chose the yen before I knew that it was going to be the most popular one. When I looked at this, I noticed that we broke out of that, and this was really the cleanest thing. So when I'm looking at this, I'm saying, okay, we broke out of this support area. You can see, here's my entry right here. This one I still have going, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But what happened was it's broke this support area, because remember, you only want to get into this if it's breaking support. You just don't go to the heat map and say, okay, that's there. You actually have to have a reason to get in. This right here was breaking support. But what I liked is that, there was a little bit of resistance here that a little later in the day, I did take some off around here because we did have a minor resistance here. But this was oscillating on the higher time frames. Remember to do your multiple time frame analysis maybe the night before. Sometimes I do it early in the morning since I wake up a little bit earlier. But on the larger time frames, when you took a look across all these pairs on the daily, they were all starting to go long, the yen long. So that's why when I looked across the yen, since I have it here, let me show it to you. Um, that's this right here. All these, when you do multi-time frame analysis, all of these were starting to cross over, coming down, and then on the dailies they were down. But what also was good is that they were in the top portion of like an oscillation. Like you'll see here, the reason why I took the New Zealand is I always pick the best one out of the pair. And the reason why this one was the best one out of the pair is because on the daily, you don't see it here, but it was oscillating between these two prices going back. It was a nice oscillation. So I was at the top of an oscillation. The long-term daily was saying, okay, this was going to go down. That's why I concentrated on the New Zealand yen. But that was at the beginning of the day. Well, look, the yen, we did have a little bit of weakness, but it wasn't all there yet. So then what happened through today, we did finally start getting, we got some yen weakness, and this really did start coming down. So now when I say yen weakness, you notice I'm talking about the yen across the whole board. So I like to know that the yen was actually going up on this. So I misspoke there. I mean the yen strength. I want to know across the board that on this pair, the only thing that's going to make this go down is if my yen gets strong, forcing the New Zealand down, or the New Zealand is weak. Well, when I first started the trading day at 5 a.m., I had the heat map that told me, okay, everything was weak. Okay, so that was a good entry because I had an alarm to go out below this support. So once it got here, my alarm hit. I took a look at it. I said, okay, New Zealand is weak. I could go short the New Zealand. But like we just talked about, I did want to pair it with something else that was strong in a long-term analysis. This way, as the New Zealand is weak today, it's sort of it has a longer-term trend down also, but that's going to force this down. But then looking at the longer time frames, knowing that the yen was going up, even if it changes, that yen starts getting strong against the board, guess what? This is still going to be forcing my trade down. This is what they call switching drivers, because this will go down as long as the New Zealand's weak. Like today, New Zealand was really weak. Now, we did get some yen strength coming into the 11 or 12 o'clock hour, so this went a lot further down. It just kept on going. So, but you want to, that's what I like to do. I found something that was weak in my trading day. And then I said, okay, what on the long-term charts is something that's trending up? And that was the New Zealand yen. That's how I chose this, because now I know I have the long trend of the yen going up on my side, and then I have the New Zealand that's starting to break to the downside. There's a little bit different there, but either way, this trade is going to keep on moving profitable with either one of those moves. So then what happened around 11 o'clock, you'll notice we were in that first thing. So at 11 o'clock, this is the, this right here. Okay, this right here was the heat map. So the heat map you could use as the making sure, okay, it's 11 o'clock. Should I stay in this trade? Should I let it go? It's also a good entry management thing. So I looked at 11 o'clock, and then I saw across the board, we still have beautiful New Zealand weakness all the way across the board here. And then the yen strength was across the board. So that means, now you have to manage your trades the way that you want to, but also watching this heat map, it tells you, okay, you could take some profit. I took some profit in that first support area, but then I know that I can leave the rest of my trade going because I still have support here. So now going forward, anytime that the yen is strong, which this is, I know it's a little confusing because it's red, but it's because all these pairs are going down, forcing the yen up. So since we have yen strength, anytime I have yen strength, guess what? My New Zealand yen that I'm in right now is going to go down. Then when I look here, anytime this New Zealand is going down, the New Zealand yen is still going to go down. Okay, so go ahead and take a couple minutes, write down what you learned here. Also, maybe give me a like on this if this is something that you like that was helpful, but take that minute or two and figure out what in this walkthrough you didn't know or you weren't doing. This way, make sure that you do it in your trading tomorrow. So figure out the things that you're doing wrong, don't do that. The things that you're doing right, just keep on taking it, and you'll notice in my trade, I do this all the time. I still journal. I've been doing this for in all the markets, I've been doing this close to 14, 15 years. The Forex market, I've been trading it for about 10 years. I have always journaled. If you do not know what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish, you might as well not trade at all. It doesn't make a difference. Someone will take your money, because the people who make money are the ones who have a plan. The people that don't have a plan, they just give the people that have a plan money. So make sure. I like Forex Early Warning. You get a great education from there. I'm sort of biased because that is who taught me how to trade about 10 years ago. I keep on saying that. I said that yesterday or the day before with one of the other trades we look at. But that is a fantastic resource. There is no cost at all to read the trading over there. It's fantastic training. So go ahead and take that couple minutes, write down what you didn't know, what maybe would have caught you off guard, and make sure you don't do it in tomorrow's trading. Have a good one.